Yo, what's up, guys? We're live. We actually have a lot to go over here. There is a lot of news just coming out. We got a 4-game slate, so let's go to the start here, and then we can look at the over/unders and the spreads really quickly, and then we can get to players and questions at the end. Again, we got a lot to talk about. I'm still rearranging my lineup because we just got some breaking news. But yeah, let's go to the start here. Let's see. Aaron Baines doubtful, so that's a boost to those Phoenix bigs with Kaminsky, with Sarge. Those guys are definitely viable. Jordan McRae is going to be out for at least 2 weeks, so that's more minutes to go around. He's playing about 20 minutes a game. Those minutes have to go somewhere. Probably, my best guess is a lot of those minutes go to a guy like Troy Brown. Jan Mahimi will be available. He's going to be on a minutes limit. He's the flat minimum price, so it's worth a shot, right? We don't know what the minutes limit's going to be. If he plays like 15 to 20, he could be viable at the min price. Let's see, a lot of this stuff is for Friday. Again, he will be on a minutes limit. We don't know what's going to be. Daniel House will play off the bench. Really, the Rockets, I don't have a whole lot of interest in the Rockets today. Marcus Morris available to play. They got Nick Ntilikina and Alfred Payton as well. The Knicks as a whole, though, not really appealing at all for me. The Rockets and Knicks are kind of a fade on this slate. Derek Favors is ruled out, so that makes Jackson Hayes a viable play for sure at 3.8K. Again, he's not going to play huge minutes because they do have Okafor, they do have Melo they can use, but Hayes is viable. Isaiah Thomas, this just happened. He got ruled out. So, Ish Smith now becomes probably one of the best value plays at his price. Sixers will start Simmons, Korkmaz, Harris, Horford, and Embiid. All right, so let's get to the over-unders and spreads really quick. 76ers Wizards at 234.5. 76ers for about 8.5. Nuggets Knicks at 204 with Denver favored by 9.5. Rockets Raptors at 231 with the Raptors favored by 2.5. Suns Pelicans at 236 with the Pelicans favored by 4.5 points. Obviously, the 76ers Wizards, Rockets Raptors game, and Suns Pelicans game all have really high over-unders. But yeah, let's jump into it. So the first game is probably going to be the game that you want a lot of exposure to. It's really, you can go about this slate one of two ways. You can, bank on Washington keeping this game close and just load up in this game, right? There's a lot of value now on the Washington side. The Philly guys are just in a great spot. So again, you can go one of two ways. You can load up on this game, or if you think it's going to blow out, maybe only play like one or two of the Philadelphia guys and then run it back with maybe the Phoenix and the Pelicans game, which I do have a lot of interest in that game. I just think a lot of the guys are going to be lower owned because everyone's going to play guys in this game. So, again, if you guys are enjoying the content, would appreciate if you hit that like button. But let's jump into it. So on the Philly side, there is a lot to like here. I love all the big four with Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Al Horford. Literally all four are very much viable. I think you can play 2, maybe even 3 if you really want to there. I think Embiid and Ben Simmons obviously have the most upside, but if you want to take the savings with Tobias and with Al Horford, I don't mind that at all. Again, the only risk with these guys is, the potential blowout, right? Washington pretty short-handed, but man, it's just like the best possible spot, and these guys are underpriced. So love Embiid, love Ben Simmons, love Tobias Harris, love Al Horford. If you play the blowout risk, right? If you think this game blows out, which there definitely is a shot that it blows out, I still think you can play 1 or 2 of these Philadelphia guys because I think they can get you there in limited time. Now, the value guys, there's still a lot to like here, right? James Ennis, Thibault, Korkmaz are all viable. Probably my favorite one would be James Ennis. The minutes have been pretty consistent, 27 back-to-back games. He's a guy that, can fill up the stat sheet, doesn't necessarily have to score, where a guy like Korkmaz is a bit more scoring dependent. So I think I would lean towards Ennis. Thibault's okay too. Again, he's been a little bit more up and down. So I think my favorite value play there would be James Ennis at 3.7K. But yeah, all in all, there's a lot to like in the Philadelphia side. Really, really good spot here. Now on the Washington side, a lot of guys just got ruled out. So we got no Thomas Bryant, no McRae, and just happened is no Isaiah Thomas. He's going to be out as well. So there's a lot to like here. Now, if you're banking on the fact that this game stays close, you're probably going to want to run it back with a couple Wizards. So Beal at the top obviously is going to be the go-to guy. If this game stays close, he's probably going to have a huge game. So if you're loading up in this game, I think you probably play Brad Beal and run it back with a couple of those main Philadelphia guys, if that's the way you're going. If you think this game blows out, I think you can play a couple of the Philadelphia guys, maybe like a cheap Wizard or two, and then target some guys in that late game. So Beal, obviously, again, if you think this game stays close, I think he has to have a monster game. Bertans is okay. Hashimura is okay. But again, they got Mo Wagner there. They got Jan Mahimi there. They now have more bodies. Jan Mahimi is going to be on a minutes limit. You could take a shot there. I wouldn't feel great about it. So the bigs, I'm not super excited about. It's the guards and really the guards here. So again, no Jordan McRae. I think Troy Brown is probably the biggest beneficiary. I think his minutes go up, maybe to like 25 to 30. So he becomes a very viable cheap play. Isaac Bamba too, but he's a lower usage guy. I would prefer Troy Brown. And then Ish Smith. I think he's now probably one of the best value plays at 3.6K. With no Isaiah Thomas, they don't have a whole lot of other guards. So my best guess is he's probably going to be asked to play huge minutes. Let's see, Wizards will start Ish Smith, Brad Beal, Bonga, Hashimura, and Mo Wagner. Kenrich Williams available to play. Okay, so that's news we just got. So yeah, I think Ish Smith now is a really, really good value play. He's just going to be asked to play huge minutes. They don't really have a whole lot of other options, so I like him a good amount at that price. So really, my main interest here on the Washington side is, Beal at the top if you think the game stays close, and then the cheap guys with Ish Smith and with Troy Brown. Those are probably my main interests. You can go with the bigs. I mean, Mo Wagner does have upside here. It's just a really bad spot against Embiid, and he gets in foul trouble a lot too, so there's a lot of risk with this. Now, if he stays out of foul trouble, I could see him having a pretty big game, but don't feel great about that. So that's really where my interest is on the Washington side. If we move on to Houston and Toronto, it's honestly pretty simple. I don't have a whole lot of interest on the Houston side. Harden and Westbrook, they're going to be low owned. If you want to take a shot there, you can. I just really like spots elsewhere. So not really for me in this slate. Capella, I like the price, but it's a really tough spot. Daniel House is back too, so that takes the really cheap guys out of play. Honestly, Houston, it's kind of a fade here in a tough spot. I get it if you want to take a shot in Harden. I get it if you want to take a shot in Westbrook. They're going to be low owned, just not for me. On the Toronto side, so there is a good amount to like here. Siakam at 8.4K is very viable, right? It's an up-tempo game. He's going to play big minutes. We know him, Lowry, and Van Fleet are going to play big minutes. Probably my favorite play would be one of these guards, both Lowry or Fred Van Fleet, for the discount off of Siakam. So Lowry and Fred Van Fleet's a really close call. I might slightly lean towards Lowry for a little bit more, right? I already talked about in the video. He shot 2 of 18 and still put up 41 fantasy points. Again, this is a really up-tempo game, so Lowry, Fred Van Fleet, I have no issue. You can probably play both if you want to. I'm going to slightly lean towards Lowry over Fred Van Fleet, but again, if you want to take the $400 savings with Fred Van Fleet, you can. Norman Powell, I'm going to pass. I know he's been good. I just don't know if he can keep up this level of production. So if you're a guy that likes riding the hot hand, you can go there, just not for me on the slate. Ibaka and Gasol are viable as well. Marc Gasol, 4.4K. I'm not a huge Marc Gasol guy, but I think he's pretty safe at that price. The concern is, I don't really know if he matched up well against this Houston team, right? They're up-tempo team, so maybe he gets run off the court and they use Ibaka a little bit more. Both bigs are viable. OG, I don't know if I want to go there, but they have other guys like Hollis Jefferson, Norman Powell's been getting met. So really, my main interest here is the guards. It's Kyle Lowry, it's Fred Van Fleet. I like both those guys a lot here at their prices. You can go Siakam too. I'm just going to prefer the guards for a little bit less. Denver and New York. So this game, not super appealing for me. I really think there's a good chance this game blows out, right? It's sitting at, where is it? Only 9.5. I thought that'd be a little bit higher. So I think a lot of these Denver guys will be low owned. Jamal Murray, I think he's, probable. Okay, so if you want to take a shot on Jokic, don't hate it. Again, everyone's going to go Embiid. Everyone's going to go those Philadelphia guys. So these Denver guys are going to be very low owned, and maybe if New York keeps it close, a couple of these guys could have a big game. It's just, I think if you're building one lineup, I think the safer way to go is, targeting those Philly guys. So Jokic, Jamal Murray, Barton, Millsap, Gary Harris are okay. You could play the blowout factor, right, and maybe run like a Mason Plumlee or Jeremy Grant. Those guys will get, obviously more run in a blowout. So on the Denver side, I'm not super excited about anyone, but I get it if you want to, go with one of these guys. So, Barton at 5.9K. I mean, Millsap at 4.9 is okay. I don't know if I'd go Gary Harris, but these Denver guys are all okay. No one stands out as a great play, and there obviously is some blowout risk in this one as well. On the Knicks side, it's kind of a fade for me. Kind of like Houston, there's just not a whole lot to like. I mean, Marcus Morris is now back. I guess he would probably be interesting at that price at 5K because we know he's going to shoot the ball a ton, but it's a really bad spot. Denver plays at a slow pace. They're one of the best defensive teams, and the Knicks are just a mess. So, honestly, it's kind of a fade for me. I mean, if I was going to take a shot in a Nick, maybe it would be like a Bobby Portis off the bench at 3.9K, but just don't feel great about it. Dotson and Knox are out of play with Marcus Morris back. All the point guards are now available, so that takes DSJ out of play. It's just basically a fade for me on the New York side. Now, this Phoenix Pelicans game, last game of the night, and this game is interesting because I think it goes lower owned compared to the first game of the night with the Wizards and the 76ers. Now, if you're going to play the fact that the game blows out and maybe play, again, one or two of those Philadelphia guys, maybe play a couple of those cheap Washington guys, and then run it back with this game, that's probably what I would do. It's either one of two ways, I think, for building the lineups, right? You load up in this game, you hope it stays close, you get a couple pieces from the rest of the games, or you play one or two of the Philadelphia guys, one or two of the Washington value guys, and then run it back with these other games. Probably my main interest would be this Phoenix and the Pelicans game, and then maybe get one of those Raptors guards. That's kind of how I would go about building lineups today. But Phoenix, Booker's okay at 7.5K, right? His upside is a little bit capped with Rubio playing, but I still like the price. Rubio is a guy that seems pretty safe at 6.2K. We know he's going to play over 30 minutes in a close game, a really, really good spot, so I think he's a safe option. Oubre a bit risky, he's a bit up and down. Sarge and Kaminsky are viable here in a really good spot. Kaminsky had a good game, but the game did blow out. The concern is they do have Diallo, but he kind of only got a blowout run, so yeah, I think Kaminsky, I think Sarge are okay. I think one of those guys could have a big game. Diallo, again, it's a revenge game, but the minutes are a bit riskier for him. So, yeah, all in all, Phoenix, there is a decent amount to like, right? It's Booker and Rubio at the top. Oubre is a riskier option. Sarge, Kaminsky are in a decent spot. Diallo as a risky GPP play, but that's kind of where my interest lies. On the Pelicans side, it's there's still a good amount to like here. So Ingram and Jrue Holiday at the top. We know they're going to play big minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. I think they're interesting pivots, right? I think these guys go a bit lower owned because everyone's going to go with the Philadelphia guys. Everyone's going to go with those Toronto guards. So I think Ingram and Jrue go a bit lower owned. Don't mind if you want to pivot to one of those guys. Lonzo, I still like his price at 5.3K. He's going to play around 30 minutes, up-tempo game. So, yeah, there's a lot to like here. Still no Derek Favors. He got ruled out. So Jackson Hayes is probably going to start at 3.8K. Not going to play huge minutes, but right around 25, he makes for a pretty solid value play. If you want to get a riskier option, you could go Okafor. The minutes are all over the place, right? But we know if he gets 20 to 25 minutes, he can definitely crush that value. So if you want to take a shot on Okafor, I don't hate it. Kenrich Williams is still kind of like here at 3.6K. They said he's available to play. I don't think we've heard of the starting lineup yet. On Kenrich, let's see. Yeah, still just available to play. So if he starts, I think he makes for a pretty solid value play there at 3.6K. I think if he starts, he probably gets around 25, maybe 30 minutes. So I would have a good amount of interest there if he does start. Melly, probably not for me. So that's kind of where I lie on the Pelican side, right? It's Ingram, Jrue, and Lonzo. And then JJ Redick, too, at 4.8K. I think he makes for a pretty solid play. I'm not normally a JJ Redick guy, but he's going to play right around 30 minutes. He's probably going to get you 25 to 35 fantasy points, so he makes for a pretty solid option as well. So there's a decent amount to like here, too, on the Pelican side, right? The big three there, you got JJ, you got Jackson Hayes if he play, possibly Kenrich Williams if he starts. So that's kind of where my interest lies here in that game. So let's get to some questions here. I know I kind of moved fast there, but running on limited time. So we got 15 minutes to lock. Let's do it. Is Millsap a solid cash play? Yeah, I mean, I think he's safe. I don't think he has huge upside, right? There is some blowout risk, too. So at that price of 4.9K, don't mind it. I just don't know if I would go there personally. Randall always goes off against Denver. You could, I mean, he's going to go super, super long. So you could take a shot there. Again, it's not for me on the Knicks side. No studs for me against the mid. No studs for me going the mid-tier approach. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty popular today. The mid-tier is looking pretty good. Harris or Horford. I mean, that's basically a coin flip to me. Those guys are pretty similar. Yeah, I think you flip a coin there. Both I do like. Diallo, Gasol, or Morris, Ennis. Probably Morris, Ennis, I guess. Horford over Harris, just barely for me. Yeah, like I said, it's a really close call of those two. Sarge or Bertans. I'll go Sarge just because it's the better matchup of the two. But, yeah, Beal, OG, or Embiid, Korkmaz. I think you go Embiid, Korkmaz there. Kaminsky or Hayes. Well, I think Kaminsky has more upside, but they're different prices. DK, Jrue, Millsap, or Simmons, Diallo, and Cash. Diallo's not really a cash game play, right? I'm just worried about his minutes. He is a guy that can get you there in limited time, but I'm just worried about the minutes for him. So I'll go Drew Millsap for cash. Booker, Cheek Diallo, or Rubio Kenrich. If Kenrich starts, I'll go Rubio Kenrich. James Harden, he's going to be really low owned. If you want to take a shot there, you can. But I'm not going to play him personally. And I think he's probably going to be under 10% owned. So don't hate taking a shot there. RJ Barrett, bounce back. I'm not interested really in the Knicks. I think there's better ways to go. Van Fleet plus Hart or Harris plus Ball. I'll go Harris and Ball, but both are pretty solid options. Is it a bad idea to fade Harden? Cash mid-range looks really nice. No, not at all. Harden's going to be really low owned tonight, so you can definitely fade him in cash games. James Ennis should get blowout run. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm still trying to make my lineup here because now I basically got to get Ish in there at that price. Don't get fizzed on. He might lose his job tomorrow. Yeah, there's a shot he could get fired too. I've heard that rumor. So fizzed on. I love that. Whatever that is, that meme. IT out, Ish valuable 100%. He's going to start, probably play 25 to 30 minutes. So yeah, I think he's very, very viable at that price. Tucker or Serge? I like the upside more, Serge Ibaka. I think Tucker gets more minutes, but I like upside more on Serge there. Is Morris probably the safest Nick? I think so for that price. He is 5K, right? Yeah. I think so for that price. Again, I'm just not super excited about the Knicks guys. Yeah, 5K, like I said, I think he's a pretty solid option. Wish me luck tonight going against McLovin for tickets. Yeah, he was the guy that played Lonnie Walker in 30% of his lineups, right? Andy Denwell House Jr. love, not for me. He's coming off the bench. Still don't have a whole lot of interest in the Rockets tonight. Thank you for all you do. Love the content. Hey, I appreciate that, Jessica. Is Millsap going to be low owned? Yeah, I think so. I think he will. I don't think a lot of people are going to go there. I think a lot of people are going to load up in that first game, and then maybe get bits and pieces from the other games. So I don't think Millsap's going to be pretty high owned. Make sure you all like the stream, boys. Yeah, again, if you're enjoying the content, I appreciate if you hit that like button. Lowry, Beal, Brown, Ingram, Kaminsky. Lowry, Beal, Brown, Ingram, Kaminsky, Simmons, Ennis, Redick. Thoughts? Yeah, I like that. You don't have Embiid, which is a little bit risky, right? But I like all those guys, so no issue with that. You also, let's see, you don't have Ish in there too, which is a little bit risky to fade, in my opinion, at that price. But we appreciate everything you do to help the community, brother. Good luck tonight. Hey, I really appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, I love doing these videos. I love making the live streams. Again, all free content. I really like helping you guys out. So Kenrich in play, yeah, I would like him if he starts. If he comes out the bench, I'd be a little bit worried, just because I think he might get limited minutes-wise. Let's see. Redick or Ibaka, that's a close call. I think Redick's probably a little bit safer just because he's going to play more minutes, so I'll go Redick. Harris or Horford, again, that's really, for GPP, I'll go Tobias Harris. He's a little bit more scoring dependent, so I'll go Harris for GPP. Millsap price between both sites is the difference maker. Is he higher priced on FanDuel? I don't even know what his price is on FanDuel. Kenrich and Siakam or Drew and Millsap in cash. Again, that depends on if Kenrich starts. If Kenrich starts, I would go Kenrich and Siakam. So I don't know if we're going to get that news, though, before lock here. We just have him listed as available to play. He has 6K in FanDuel. Yeah, so obviously he's a better play there on DraftKings then. Good luck, DK, smashing the content as always. Appreciate that, man. Simmons or Ingram? Well, it depends on do you think Washington can keep it close? If you do, you definitely go Simmons there. If you think it's a blowout, maybe you go Ingram. Right, Simmons is gonna be a lot more popular. I'll keep an eye on the news. Okay, Bovada takes 3 days for me to weirdly. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, like I said, guys, I think the slate's pretty simple. I like the Toronto guards in this game. I like a lot in this game. You either go with the fact that you think this game stays close and load up in it, and then get a little bit of pieces from here and a little bit of pieces from here, or you think this game blows out. You play one or two of those Philadelphia guys, a couple of the Washington cheap guys, and then get some pieces in this game and get some pieces in this game. The Denver-New York game, not super appealing, right? If New York can keep it close, I think Denver, a couple of those guys could have a decent game, but I just like the spot a lot more for the the Philadelphia guys. Bears or Cowboys winning tonight? What's the spread? I think it's a 3-point spread. I might take the Bears at home. I think the Cowboys are favored by 3, right? IT and Jordan McRae out and yada yada are the 100 reasons why you need to be available for a lock. Right, exactly. I'm interested to see what Beal's ownership is going to be. Again, my lineup right now, I am banking on the fact that the game stays close. So I'm playing Beal. I'm running it back with a couple of his main Philadelphia studs, and then going from there. So, gotta hope it stays close. Again, there definitely is some blowout risk. Cameron Johnson's at the min price and 20 minutes viable. Well, I don't know if I would do it, right? He got extended run this game because of the blowout. It's a good spot. I mean, you just got to hope he gets the minutes. I'm worried about his minutes. I'm worried about Diallo's minutes. If the game stays close, right, I think those guys get a bit limited. Both teams struggling offensively. Yeah, exactly. That game's going to be a pretty ugly game in my opinion. Oh shoot, forgot to export my lineup here. Yeah, all right. Let's see, we got any more news here? Yeah, now we're not waiting on a whole lot. We're just seeing if Kenrich does start. If he does start, I would have some interest in there. Again, no Aaron Baines, so right, Kaminsky and Sarge are definitely viable in a really good spot. Thoughts on Rubio since it's versus the Pels? I do have a good amount of interest at that price. He seems pretty safe. I think the game stays close. He gets over 30 minutes at 6.2K. He fills up the stat sheet. So, I think he's a pretty safe option at that price for sure. I currently don't have him in, but I'm a little bit scared, right? I prefer Lowry for a little bit more, but it's a close call. So, Smith, Beal, Simmons, Kaminsky, Embiid, Holiday, Brown, Williams. Yeah, I like that a good amount. No issue with that at all, yeah. If Kenrich starts, I like him at that price. Also, again, guys, Jackson Hayes is a pretty solid cheap play in my opinion, right at 3.8K. He should start and probably play around 25 minutes, so he's viable. Oubre, Saric, or Bertans. If it's for GPP, I'll go Oubre just because he's flashed huge upside, right? Where's Phoenix? He's a bit riskier of an option just because the Mets are all over the place. 18, 41, 38, 23. Now the game did blow out, but we know that when he's playing well, he's got 40, even 50 fantasy point upside. So for GPPs, I would go Oubre. He is a little bit riskier of an option. Kaminsky or Alonzo Ball. That's close. Probably Kaminsky, but both are definitely viable in the mid-range. Lonzo's upside is a little bit capped, playing alongside with Drew and Ingram, but I like his price too, so I'll go Kaminsky, but it's close. Fizdon for the Fizdale came up with something for Gentry if you get screwed over by him. It'll be called gentrified. Okay, I'll see myself out. No, I like that, man. The Fizdon meme or whatever just cracks me up. Boo this man. All right, so knowing my luck again, I've had some pretty bad luck with blowouts recently, so Philadelphia, Washington will probably blow out. Ish Smith or Hayes? I'll go Ish Smith. I think the upside's a bit higher, but I do like Jackson Hayes too at that price. I think you can definitely play both if you want to. Again, Hayes has been getting the most consistent center minutes. He doesn't have like huge upside, but at that price, I think he's very viable. Again, if you want to get a really risky shot here, you could go for a guy like Jahlil Okafor, who the Mets have been all over the place. But if he hits that high end, right, if he gets like 25 or so, he could crush. So Jackson Hayes is obviously the safer option. If you want to get really risky, you could take a shot on Okafor. A lot of people are mad that Giannis doesn't score as high as people want him to. Don't be mad. Be mad at the teams that he plays against who suck. Yeah. I mean, my reasoning for taking a shot on Giannis last night, again, I've just been playing a lot of GPPs recently, so I went with a more contrarian build because I knew Giannis was going to be super low owned, and I knew everyone was playing Luka. So I just took the shot with playing Luka and Giannis. Didn't really work out, right? The blowout for the Bucks, and then Luka was pretty bad, surprisingly. My value plays, surprisingly, were the ones that got me there. Guys like Bazemore and who else did I have? Cam Reddish was really good. So those guys got me there. The studs let me down last night. But I talked about the chalk plays right last night. I talked about Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, and Luka, obviously. Luka was really high owned. Was a surprise letdown. I'll talk about Chris Chioza, actually. So that's a really risky GPP play, but it's viable here. Where is he at? Min price. He's going to probably be the backup point guard. And I think he probably gets around 15 to 20 minutes. Maybe a little bit more if like Ish Smith plays really bad or gets in foul trouble or something like that. So you could always take a shot there, right? Like Ish Smith is not going to play huge minutes. They're not going to run Ish Smith out there for like 35 minutes. So I think the rest of those go to a guy like Chris Chioza. Maybe Beal runs the point a little bit too. But you could take a shot there. Again, that's a really risky shot though. Lock. Good luck, everyone. Yeah, we're locked. I can go over some ownership in the first game. Again, I think a lot of guys will be pretty high owned. Last one, Siakam or Ingram for cash. That's really they're really close. I'll go Ingram just because Kyle Lowry being back, I think, limits Siakam's usage a little bit. So I'll go Ingram, but that's a really close call. Good luck, boys. Get that paper. All right, let's go over some ownership here. The $44, let's take a look. So, yeah, we got some pretty chalky guys here. Ish Smith, 77% in the $44. Brad Beal, 62%. Ben Simmons, only 23%. I'll take that all day, man. I really like Ben Simmons there. James Ennis, I got at 13%. Again, it was a close call for me with him versus Troy Brown, or I got like Kenrich, but we didn't get that news in time, so I went with James Ennis. Embiid is only 44%. I thought he'd be a lot higher owned. I'll take that ownership all day in Embiid. So that's what I got in the early game. Let's take a look at the $10. The $10 Ish Smith's 54%, Beal's 43, Ben Simmons 28, Embiid 41, and James Ennis 15. So let's take a look at some other people's lineups and see what some ownership is. Korkmaz 4%. Again, he's scoring dependent. Let's see. Al Horford is 33%. Again, I liked all those Philadelphia guys. I rolled with Ben Simmons and Embiid. Mo Wagner at 25%. And this is in the $44. Tobias Harris, 42%. So yeah, those Philadelphia guys are high owned. Ben Simmons, I like that ownership on him for sure. For myself, again, at 23%. But it looks like a lot of people had the same idea, right? Is getting a lot of exposure to that early game and kind of hoping it stays close. Smith 37%. What tournament is that in? Because I see him again. He's 77% in this tournament. Troy Brown 13%. Simmons the play in my opinion. Yeah, I like the ownership on him. Right, he's low owned, and who's going to guard him on the Washington side? Like Ish Smith or I don't know who they're going to try to throw on him, but I think Ben Simmons could crush. Again, I liked all the Philadelphia guys, so that's what I got. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully Washington can keep it close. But I think that's it, guys. So I'm going to hop out of here. Again, I'll have my video up for the Friday NBA slate later tonight, so be on the lookout for that. But thanks again for everyone to come and check out the stream, and I will see you guys tomorrow.